Okay, so good morning, good morning, good morning, 10,000 good mornings. It's fun for my brain because I'm not usually teaching on a Thursday morning, so I'm going to be confused about what day it is for the rest of the day. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My thought for you this week of the solstice, right after the solstice, is that we're still riding that sort of energy of the sun being very high, the sun being very bright. And yogically, we say that the sun is not just an external energy source. It's not just something that's outside of us, but that the sun is something that exists inside, right? The light of awareness, the light of illumination, right? That helps us to realize what is fundamentally true and real, right? And that light is always shining, right? So it's that idea that it's always high in the sky. It's always at its full brilliance. And the only thing that makes it seem like it ebbs and flows is what travels through our mind, right? What actually travels through our experiences, those are what you say metaphorically, or those are the clouds, those are the obstructions, those are the veils, or those are the things that are in the way of us being able to feel that light as the radiance that it is. So what are we doing in a yoga practice, right? Is we're not trying to change anything. It's my big thought for the week, is that your practice is not to try to change anything. It's not it's not to change yourself. It's not to change the world, but it is for you to start to recognize for yourself what your unique path to that radiance is, right? To be able to feel for yourself where there is a tendency in your life to do too much or too little, because those excesses, either having too much or too little, is what creates that obstruction. Right? So we practice to start to alleviate that feeling of being out of balance, out of harmony. And out of harmony with what? Out of harmony with what are the natural rhythms for you, not the natural rhythms for somebody else, the natural rhythms for you. And the more that that is what occurs, right? We come out of the excesses, is that what naturally starts to appear or reveal itself, that's how they put it in the text, what reveals itself is that radiant light, right? And then eventually we get very, very clear on not running back to those excesses. And that radiant light is something that we just live in, right? We just live with it. We live as it. So this is what we're practicing for. Everything else that you think you're doing is just rearranging furniture, right? So coming back to this concept, right, with solstice energy, is that that inner sun is always radiant. That radiant light is always present. What stands in the way of us seeing it, feeling it, knowing it, is all of that excess, right? Either too much or too little. So that's what we practice, to understand when you're doing too much and when you're doing too little. That's it. So comfortable seat if you're not there already. Let the eyes close. And just for a couple of breaths, breathe in through your right nostril and out through your left. The right nostril is connected to what's said to be that sun energy. So you're inhaling, stimulating that nadi. And then not forgetting that by exhaling out through the left is that there still is that other side. There still is the need to let go, right? So the sun is that stimulation. The exhale is the letting go. Left side is the release. Not too much, not too little. Just with your mind, breathing in through the right nostril, exhaling out through the left. Smooth cycle. The challenge of yoga is that it is not the responsibility of the practice itself to reveal anything to you. It's you. It's your energy interacting with your energy, revealing that radiance. So you are responsible, you could say, for your own enlightenment. You're responsible for your own equanimity, finding it and then maintaining it. You're the only one that can do it. You're the only one that can find that inner radiance and experience it fully. So don't let that scare you. Let it be motivation, right? How exciting that you're the only one who can do it. Breathing one more breath all the way in and up. Send your attention to the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. As you breathe in, pause and hold. And then exhale all the way out. Allow the breath to return to its steady natural flow, again, in and out between both nostrils. Good. And then hands to the knees or the thighs. Start to cat-cow your spine, eyes still closed, moving with the breath. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening. Exhaling, curling and rounding. Good. Keeping the eyes closed. So again, there's this sense of paying attention inwardly instead of outwardly. And that your movement really is an extension of the breath. So don't just move your body and assume that the breath is going to follow that. Is as the body moves, fill it with breath. So the inhale is a full inhale, as big and as wide as it can go. And the exhale is the same thing. It's exhaling as deeply and as widely as you can go. Right? So the exhale is not really a narrowing so much as it's a finding the inner spaces. Good. Let your pelvis move with you. Let your chest move. Let your throat move. Nice. And finding the flexibility of your spine. One more breath, inhaling long. Exhaling, drawing back and in. And then come back to what feels like a neutral spine. So that means you're settling your sit bones down to the floor. You're letting your rib cage float back in space so that your shoulders are really on top of your hips. And then you're dropping your chin slightly and drawing the ears back so the head moves back on top of the shoulders. And then there's a lift through the top of your head that doesn't cause you to lift your chin, but it causes you to lift your spine. And then drop your seat again. So as though you're hanging on that thread, right, that pulls through the length of the spine. Excellent. And then bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Then come forward to hands and knees. Good. Tuck your toes under, spread your fingers wide, and then come into downward facing dog. Lift the hips high to the sky, pressing into the hands. Let your hands be as wide as they need to be. And then pedal your feet just a little bit so that you can, again, work through the lower back, work through the hips. Good. And then steady the heels for a moment. Bring your armpits forward just for a breath into plank pose, upward push-up. And really make sure there that if you have to wiggle your feet back, you wiggle them back. You find the full length on your spine, lift up through the back of your throat, soften that low rib cage in and up. Good. And then without moving your hands or your feet, take your hips back to the sky and come back to downward facing dog. Good. Letting yourself really breathe the whole length of your spine, even if that means that your knees are bent. Breathe the entire length of your spine. Good. Draw that low rib cage up and in. Yeah, take the tops of your thighs back. Nice. And then start to walk your feet forward towards your hands, coming all the way to the top of your mat, standing forward fold. Good. Separate your feet as wide as your mat, please, toes facing straight ahead. And then place that right hand to the floor or a block. Take your left arm up to the sky. Good. And press down into that right hand so that as you lift through that left arm, it's really a true lift through your shoulder. It's not just through the arm itself, but you're pulling up through the left side of your chest. Press into your feet. Good. And then release and switch. Left hand down to the floor or a block. Right arm up to the sky. Good. Keep your inner thighs pressing wide here. So you're trying to keep this lift of your sacrum. So you're pushing into your heels. You're lengthening through your legs. Even if that means your knees aren't straight, that's okay. But keep lifting through your sacrum. Good. Lifting through the right side chest. Nice. Release that hand down to the floor. Good. Take that right hand to your outer left ankle. Good. Again, feet are as wide as your mat. Take the left arm up to the sky. So a little bit of a deeper twist. Good. Keeping the low navel drawing in. Keep your inner thighs pressing wide. Press your sacrum up towards the sky. Good. And then release and switch, please. Coming back through center. Take the left hand to your right ankle. Take the right arm to the sky. Turning that palm towards the same direction as your face so that you have an openness through the front of your shoulder. Good. Nice, you guys. Float the head back. and then release back to center. Nice job. Good. Heel toe your feet a little closer underneath your hips. Take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Nice. And then inhale, both arms up to the sky, deep breath. And then exhale, hands all the way down to the floor, forward fold. Nice. Inhale, lift up to halfway. So fingertips come to the front of your shins or blocks. Breathe long. And then exhale, bow deeply, keeping the navel drawn in, but drop your head. Step the right leg back behind you, drop your knee. Use a blanket if you need. Inhale, both arms to the sky. So an Anjaneyasana, deep breath in. Good. And then exhale, hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back to plank. Inhale. Good. Lower down slow to your belly on your exhale. Make it as long as the movement is. And then inhale when you arrive back into Cobra, lifting head, neck, and chest. Good. Feeling the hug of your upper arms, of your armpits squeezing. And then exhale, release, come back to downward facing dog. Let that movement be something that really helps the breath leave the body. Exhale. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Find your inhale. Left foot steps forward as you exhale, forward fold. So both feet to the top of your mat. These are nice slow sun salutes. Good. Inhale, take the arms around and up. Come to stand, deep breath. And then exhale, hands come back together at the heart. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up, making your breath as long as the movement. Good. Exhale, bow forward, taking the hands down to the floor or your blocks. Good. Inhale, lift up and lengthen, hands to the front of your shins. Lift through your sacrum. And then exhale, keep lifting through your sacrum, but bow deeply, navel in. Good. Step the left leg back behind you, drop the knee, arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. So a full inhale. Continue to reach your heart towards the sky. As long as you are inhaling, you're reaching your spine long. And then exhale, release the hands back down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back to plank, find an inhale. Good. Lower down to your belly on your exhale. Use knees if you need. Rise up into Cobra. Inhale, pointing the toes, root down through your shins. And then exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Keep that low rib cage drawing in and up. Really nice. Left foot steps forward between the hands. That's your inhale. Exhale, take the right foot forward as well, standing forward fold. Good. Inhale, the arms around and up. And then exhale, hands come together at the heart. Good. Inhale, the arms around and up. Let your breath be the important thing here, not the movements. Exhale, bow forward. Movements are important too, but stay with your breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Again, lifting through the sacrum, length of your legs, push down through your heels. Exhale, bow deeply. Good. Step the right leg back behind you, drop the knee. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Good. Again, full breath. So you're pulling up through your through your chest, through your spine, long. And then release the hands down to the floor. Exhale. Lift that back knee, step back to plank. Find your inhale. Lower down to your belly, find your exhale. Good. Rise up, Cobra, find your inhale. Don't worry if you're not perfectly in sync with me. Exhale, downward facing dog. You're paying attention to the rhythm of your breath. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Inhale. Left foot steps forward as you exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, the arms around and up. And then exhale, hands come together at your heart. Nice. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift up and lengthen halfway, hands to the front of your shins or blocks. Exhale, bow deeply, keep your navel engaged. Good. Step your left leg back, drop the knee. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Again, full inhale, lifting through your spine the entire time. Pelvis moves low, but chest goes high. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back to plank. Inhale. Lower down to your belly. Exhale. Rise up, Cobra. Inhale. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really nice. Left foot steps forward. Inhale. Right foot steps forward. Exhale into your forward fold. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Last round, a little bit faster. If the pace we've been going is what's working for you, stay with it. Stay with your breath. Inhale, the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply. Right leg steps back. Inhale, arms to the sky, knee to the floor. Good. Exhale, hands back down to the floor. Lift the knee, step back, plank. Find your inhale. Lower down slow, exhale. Rise up, Cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, right? You have to forget about perfection here. Right leg steps forward, inhale. Left leg steps forward, standing forward fold. Exhale. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply. Left leg steps back. Inhale the arms to the sky as you drop the knee. Full breath. Exhale, hands to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back plank. Inhale. Lower down to your belly. Exhale. Rise up, cobra. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Inhale. Right foot steps forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Pause. Take the arms alongside you, palms facing forward, as though you are the mountain in the blue sky. You find your feet. You find the tops of your thighs floating back, the lower rib cage floating back. And then it's not a squeeze behind the heart, but it's a widening of the front of your shoulders. So let your hands float to where they need to float. And then again, the back of the head draws slightly back in space as the chin drops and you lift straight through the crown. And feel this is the trajectory. The breath breathes itself all the way through, up to the top of the head, down through the feet. Sun salutes especially because we alternate between back bending and forward folding, as it activates every major system, every major meridian. And the idea is that where there is excess in any direction, it starts to correct that imbalance. So it's not the sun that saves you, it's not the moon that saves you, it's the being able to move between the two. One more full breath. Good, and then let the eyes float open, please. Hug your right knee up in towards your chest, squeeze it in. Good, as you squeeze that knee in, top of your left thigh moves back, so you feel like your butt is pushing towards a wall behind you, but your belly's drawing in. Good, and then step that right foot way back behind you into a lunge, so it's a backward step. Good, bending the left knee, arms to the sky, high lunge. Beautiful, nice, Mia. Good, Lydia, good, Linda. Nice, you guys. And then take your torso forward, parallel to the floor, please. Lift that back thigh a little higher as you do. Scoop into your belly and send your left knee directly over your left ankle. Good. Yep, you're still in the lunge. I just want you to get really connected to your legs. Good. And then chest moves forward just a little bit more. Step up to warrior three. That right thigh parallels the floor. Left hip stacks on top of left heel. Good. Take your hands back behind your head. And then lift those elbows and press the back of your head up into your hands in your warrior three if you can. If you can't place your hands there, just remember that you're lifting through the back of your throat. Excellent. And then go ahead and step back to high lunge again. Bend that left knee, take that right foot to the floor, arms to the sky. Deep breath in, chest open to the sky. Open, open, open. Yeah, and then release the hands down to the floor. Nice job, good. Plant that right hand, take your left arm up to the sky, open twist. Again, pushing into the right hand, reaching up through the left wrist, up through the left shoulder. So there should be a feeling of connection to that right hand, but you're not dropping your weight into it. Good. Nice, Rhonda. Release that left hand down to the floor, please. Nice job. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Bend both knees a lot. And then see if you can bring your hips back just a little bit further, like you're dropping your hips towards your heels. Bend the knees a lot. Good. Don't move your hands, but bend your knees and drop your hips. So that arch is going to come out of your lower spine. That's the trick. You've almost got to curl into your low belly. Excellent. And then start to straighten the legs again, please. Softening through your heels. Good. Look forward between the hands. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Good. Standing forward fold. Straighten the legs. Nice. And then bring your hands to your hips. Come all the way up to stand. Good. Left knee pulls up in towards your chest. Hug it in. And as you squeeze it in, top of your right thigh moves back in space. So don't just think of this as a transition. Think of this as a pose, right? That right here, you're drawing up through the front of your body, belly in. And then you're drawing the top of that right thigh back so that there's a connection of the front of the body to the back of the body. Good. And then you're stepping your left leg back behind you into a high lunge, bending the right knee, arms to the sky. Good. And chances are good that because you're stepping backwards and not looking is that your lunge is maybe a little bit short. So if you need to lengthen it, lengthen it. And then take your torso forward parallel to the floor. As your ribs come forward, your back thigh's got to kick up a little higher. Press back through that back heel. And then scoop into your low belly. It's going to feel like you're almost tucking your right sit bone under so that you can bring that right knee forward over the ankle. So this is truly connecting to the lunge, right? And then bring your chest forward a little bit more. Step up into warrior 3, which probably feels like relief. Good. Hands behind your head, elbows wide. Yep. As a reminder that as you lift through that left inner thigh, you've also got to lift through the back of your throat. Good. Elbows up. Nice, you guys. Low rib cage in and up. Beautiful. Step all the way back to a high lunge, please. Take the arms up to the sky. Nice, Marjorie. Good, Mia. Good. Big back bend. Lift your heart higher. Let your head drop back just a little bit. Arms wider. Yeah, so that the chest has space. Good. And then release, please. Hands down to the floor. Left hand plants, right arm to the sky twist. Pressing into the left hand, reach up through the right side of your chest. So again, it's the pushing down into the floor and the rising up that gives you this feeling of open space, but also gives your joints a feeling of connection. Good. Nice, Meredith. And then release that right hand to the floor, please. Step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. One more. Full breath in. And full breath out. Good. Bring the knees to the floor, please. Let them go wide. Big toes together to touch. Drop your hips back to your heels. Child's pose. Good. Pressing into the tops of your feet. Spread your toes wide. Good. Maybe you even feel a tiny bit of a squeeze of the inner knees towards your outer ribs. Just that little bit of a squeeze helps to give energy to the outer hips so that they actually release more. And that little bit of a squeeze helps to stabilize your lower back so that maybe you can drop your hips a little bit more towards your heels, maybe not. And paying attention that those places in our lives where we do too little is just as potentially difficult or creates challenge as when we do too much. Good. Walk your torso to the right, please, over your right thigh. Move the whole belly so your belly is resting over that right thigh so you get really into that left side body. You can even take your left wrist so that it crosses over the right. Good. And you're still trying to turn your ribs slightly to the right. So that left rib cage is going to spin down as the right rib cage lifts up. Nice. Sorry. Good, Sasha. Good, everybody. Walk yourself back to center, please. Go the other way. Move your belly over the left thigh. Again, lifting and shifting the belly so that right hand can cross over the left wrist. Nice, Susan. Good. And then bring yourself back to center, please. Nice job. Come on up onto hands and knees, and then come back to downward facing dog. Good. Take the right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. So inhale that leg up to the sky. Nice, Lauren. Just watch that low rib cage lifts up. You got it. Yep, yep, yep. And then step that right foot between the hands, please. Lunge. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket under the knee if you'd like. Inhale both arms to the sky. Anjaneyasana. Good. Pressing through that front heel. So really connect, lift and spread the toes of your front foot. So the ball of the foot stays on the floor, but your toes lift up. Bring more weight into your heel. Good. And then keep that. Take the hands to your heart center, please. Prayer twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Good. And as you're twisting, you're pressing the elbow against the knee wide against the elbow, and then you're drawing the arms into the center of the back. And as you press into the hands, take that left rib cage, your lower rib cage forward as your right rib cage falls back. Good. Nice, you guys. And then unwind your twist. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Deep breath in. Good. And then bring the hands down to the floor, please. Both hands inside the front foot. Right shoulder comes up inside that right knee. Slide your right hand behind the heel to the baby toe edge of the foot. Good. Pressing into both hands, take your shoulders slightly forward, lift your chest. Good. And then either stay here if this feels like enough, or tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. Good. As the back knee lifts, again, you get a little bit more stretch through that back thigh, but keep the chest moving forward and wide. Keep the back of your throat lifting up. Again, paying attention that every pose, you are filling it with breath. So the more complicated it gets, the harder that might feel. But that's the only real practice, right? Is you're in the position and you're breathing as wide as you can. Good. One more breath. Keep the head up. Nice. And then drop that back knee to the floor. Unwind that arm, please. Move your left hip back so it's in line with your left knee, and then take your right leg straight. Come up on the heel, Ardha Hanumanasana. So a half split. Don't go for this full split. I mean, you really can if you want to, but half split. Hands to the floor on either side of that front foot. Use blocks if you need. Nice. And then you're pressing down through that right heel and dragging back so that there's a feeling of pulling the thigh bone up and into the hip socket, and then extending your spine longer, heart towards your toes. Good. Nice, you guys. Keep your foot awake. So again, that feeling of curling the toes back, maybe pushing through the ball of the foot. Beautiful. Nice, nice, nice. Right? Looking for that sense of inner radiance. And when you are struggling in yourself, that inner radiance might seem like it has disappeared. That's what they call our ignorance, right? Because we've lost sight of it. We think it's not there. We get confused. And then we get into this habit of whatever the world throws at us. Instead of coming from a deep place of knowing who we are, we just ping pong back whatever was sent to us. We call that karma, right? It builds momentum every time we ping pong it back at each other. And you start to be aware of where your equanimity is, so that that's where you are arriving back to and where you are moving from. One more breath, I know. And hamstrings require time. Can't just do the stretch for a breath and think it's going to go anywhere. Good. Start to draw that right heel back in. Bring the foot back to flat, bending the knee. Lift your back knee up. So you're in a lunge, right leg forward. Drop your back heel. Baby toe parallels the back of your mat. And then cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. So back heel comes flat, shoulders come over the hips, arms wide. Front knee still pointing at the second or third toe of your front foot. Good. Even here, can you have this sense that you are actually trying to almost tuck that right sit bone under just a little bit so that your hip points lift up? Good. Nice, you guys. Drop the left hand down the back thigh, right palm spins up and back, reverse warrior. Keeping that right knee going slightly wide. Good. Pressing through that front heel. Really nice. Good, Linda. Good, Lydia. Come all the way back up to center. Nice, Rhonda. And then straighten the right thigh, please. Preparation for triangle pose. Good. Extend the right rib cage forward, reaching towards the toes of the front foot, even beyond the toes of the front foot. And then let the right hand touch down, left arm to the sky. Again, use blocks if you need. And still that sensation of the right sit bone almost drawing under, almost tucking under, so that your tailbone is angling towards your back heel. Your hip points can lift slightly off of your thigh. Good. And it should still feel like that right knee is widening just a little bit, like the thigh is rotating outward. Beautiful. That same sensation as though you were pushing into that right hand, pull up through your left side ribs. Good. And then bend the right knee, release the hands down to the floor. Good. Downward facing dog. Vinyasa if you'd like, child's pose if you prefer. If you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank, lowering down to your belly, rising up cobra, remembering that this is all meant to be coinciding with your breath. And then exhaling back to downward facing dog. If you're in child's pose, meet us there. Good. And then inhale the left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Yeah, again, pulling up through the low ribs as you do that so that you keep the spine really long. Good. Nice, Tracy. Step that left foot between the hands, lunge. Good. Drop the right knee to the floor. Use a blanket if you need. Inhale the arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. And again, I want you to really connect to the front foot. So press through the front heel, lift and spread the toes of the front foot. So So as you press into your heel more and drag back just a little bit, as you're going to feel that maybe the back of that left thigh activates a little bit more. You want it to. Good. And then keep that. Take the hands together at the heart center. Prayer twist. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Good. And as you press the elbow and the knee against each other, draw the belly back away from the thigh. So again, you're supporting the spine. That's really the point of that cue, right? Is that you're supporting the spine as it twists. And then draw the arms up and into the center of the back. Good. And then you're bringing that right rib cage around, lower rib cage around to lift the left side up. Good. One more breath. Keep the hips moving forward. Drag back on the front heel. Nice, Susan. Good, Elisa. And then come back to center. Nice, Lauren. Arms to the sky. Inhale. And then release the hands down to the floor, both hands inside the front foot. Bring your left shoulder up against that left knee. Slide the hand behind the heel towards the baby toe edge of your foot. Pressing into both hands, lift and widen your chest. So you're looking forward. You're taking your collarbones forward. Good. And then if this feels like enough, stay or tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. Good. So again, as you do that, that back knee lifts, try and send your sit bones up and wide so that you're getting the full length on your lower spine, but your chest is pulling forward. And then you're breathing super wide into your ribs. Good. You're watching the reaction of your mind and realizing that there's nothing to do with it except notice it. And come back to your breath. I know, don't give up. You can always drop the back knee, but don't give up. One more breath. Good. And then release, please, dropping that back knee, unwind the arm. Take your right hip back in line with your right knee, and then take your left leg forward to straight. Come up on the heel, Ardha Hanumanasana. So the hips should be neutral on top of that supporting leg. Good. The left leg is extended. And then walk the hands forward towards the left ankle any amount. Use blocks if you need. Good. And then here too, you're dragging back on the left heel, sending your tailbone up and back slightly so that you're tilting the front of the pelvis forward to take the sit bones wide. Nice. Relax your shoulders. I know. It's a great thing to say, relax your shoulders. And you're like, how? How is it possible? Good. Just moving the excesses away, right? Places where you tense and don't realize it. Places where you're always tensing and don't realize it. Places where you never engage because of whatever's happened in the past, or maybe you just never thought to engage those parts of yourself. Too much and too little leads us back to the same place, confused, out of balance. So our practice asks us to get back into this natural rhythm, to focus on your breath, because that rhythm of your breath is one that's not dictated by your mind, not completely. If you let it flow, it moves into more of a cosmic rhythm, right? So we align ourselves, we try to, with the patterns of nature, we try to let nature guide us, because that will help to bring about our natural state of harmony. That is yours, nobody else's. And that's the state where equanimity arises, where that radiance becomes present. You're like, oh, I didn't have to work for it. I just had to find where it was already living. One more breath. Good. And then start to bring that left heel back in, sending the hips forward so you come back to that low lunge. Lift the back knee, and then drop the back heel. So you're coming into warrior two. Back heel comes flat. Baby toe parallels back of your mat. Take the shoulders on top of your hips, arms wide. Good. Left leg is forward. Nice. You got it. Good, you guys. Again, pressing down through that front heel, lift and spread your toes. So again, you have a real connection to that front foot. And then keep that connection as you bring the right hand down the back thigh and lift the left palm up and back for reverse warrior. So we tend to let all of our weight go back when we're in this position. Draw that left knee forward over the ankle, press down through the heel. Really nice, Darwin. Good, sorry, front knee forward just a little bit more. Awesome, nice, Lauren. Good, Anastasia. Nice, Tracy. Come all the way back up. Good job, you guys. Straighten that left thigh. Good, and then triangle pose, extend the left rib cage forward, 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 and let that hand come down to rest. Right arm to the sky. Good. Continuing to feel like that left thigh is rotating slightly outward. So your knee is going just a little bit wide towards the baby toe, but your big toe is pressing down. You're lifting your hip points up off of your belly. And maybe those words mean absolutely nothing to you and you're just breathing, which is excellent. Nice, Rhonda. Good, Marjorie. Good, Mia, drop your chin just a little bit so that you get a little bit of a longer throat. There you go. Nice, Lydia. Awesome, you guys. One more breath, reaching long through the width of your chest from wrist to wrist. Good. And then bend that left knee, release both hands down to the floor. Nice. Spin your back heel up, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Come forward to plank pose, upward push up. Lower down to your belly. Bend your knees, kick both heels in towards your butt. Reach back for the feet or the ankles. And if you're not reaching for the feet today because of any reason, keep your hands alongside your ribs like you would for Cobra. But if you're holding your feet, draw your heels towards your butt. Hug those knees in just a little bit so that they're not going wide. And you're pressing your thighs down into the floor. Your legs are not lifting. This is frog pose. So keep your thighs down, heels in towards your butt. And then bend your elbows up towards the ceiling, lifting the upper chest. Good, lifting through the back of your throat. So your thighs stay down. This is just working or primarily working shoulders and chest, but you will feel that it's a quad stretch as well. Good, and of course, if the hands are alongside your ribs, you're pressing down into the hands to lift the chest. So bend your elbows here, you guys. The trick is to bend your elbows. You don't want a straight arm. Bend your elbows. Good, root down through those thighs. Last breath. Yeah, and then slowly release, please. Nice. Let the feet go. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on your hands. Yeah, wiggle the hips if you need. Little mini belly shavasana. As you're breathing with the floor underneath you, maybe you can feel the breath expanding into places you don't normally feel it. So you might feel your belly pressing into the floor or the front of your chest. You might feel the breath being able to go a little bit more into your lower back, the back of your rib cage, your shoulders. The light, the inner sun, is one that is always shining, and it's meant to, or helps us to, illuminate what is fundamentally true about ourselves or about the world. So if you take your practice that is designed to help you navigate to find your way there, and you keep putting a lot of other expectations on it, you've created more work for yourself. So what I'm discovering for me is how much more work I've created for myself in just the way that I practice. It's just rearranging furniture. You get in touch with those natural rhythms. You get in touch with a sense that you are part of a bigger picture. Pay attention to where you're doing too much and too little. Your natural state of equanimity, your natural state of peace, your natural state of joy, all the things that yoga is promising, says that is what is revealed. Not because you worked hard for it, but because you finally figured out what it is. How easy it is. It's easy only when we learn to let go. Too much, too little. Keep your forehead towards the floor here, but now take your hands back behind your head. So your forehead is still facing the floor. Bring your hands behind your head, elbows wide. Keep your tops of your feet and your thighs pressing into the floor. Lift your elbows up off the floor. Good. And then again, you're lifting just the upper body. So head, neck, and chest lift up. Keep your gaze straight down to the floor. So this crocodile pose. Good. Really fun that I can't see most of you because you're on the floor, but I'm sure you're doing a great job. Lift the elbows. Feel those muscles of your middle back hugging in and drawing up from your low belly. Draw up and press your feet down. Excellent. And then release, please. Nice job. Flip over onto your backs. I'll just continue to have you doing things that I can't see. Good. Bend the knees, please. Plant your feet. Good. And then pressing down through the upper arms, you can either bend the elbows into robot arms or keep the arms straight. But as you root down through the upper arms and through the feet, good. Lift the back of the heart first, so you're getting the back engaged, and then lift the hips as well. So come all the way up into bridge, rising up from the back of your chest. Good. Bringing the hips up. Try not to push your hips to the point where it feels like the front of your thighs get hard. So again, keep the attention more at the back of your heart. So the armpits keep reaching, and then you're dragging back on your heels. It's like you're taking your butt towards your heels. Good. Don't let those knees splay wide. So Linda, I think that's you. Hug your knees in just a little bit. Good. And then slowly release the hips back down to the floor. Nice. Same pose. So make any adjustments that you need to the feet, the arms. And then again, pressing down, feel this sensation as you push down into the arms that you're widening your upper back. So instead of squeezing in behind the shoulders, like we often say, widen and push down into the arms. Then from the back of your chest, rise up, lift the hips. Good. Dragging back on your heels. So again, there's an engagement at the backs of the thighs. Good. Should feel like you're trying to pull your spine long in both directions. So bridge is not an up and down pose. It's a forward and back pose. Up and down is incidental. Good. Slowly release, coming all the way back down. Nice. And then your third bridge pose, again, make any adjustments that you need. And then setting the arms, reach up through the back of the heart or engage the back muscles to lift the back of the heart, and then take the hips up as well. And as you're here, remember that you are filling this position with breath. So don't come into the pose and get stuck clenching. You find the pose and you breathe with it, that there's a consistent engagement of your back. There's a consistent engagement of your legs. But the breath continues to move. And then if you'd like to straighten the arms and interlace your fingers underneath you, pressing the baby fingers and forearms towards the floor, go for that. And maybe that helps you find that hug behind your heart where you can lift the chest a little higher, but you still want that sensation of widening your armpits or widening your arms. Good. And then slowly release the hands, release the hips. Nice job. And then draw the knees in towards your chest, please. Hug. Good. Stretch the legs straight up towards the sky. Take your arms out wide, letter T, pressing the palms down towards the floor. Good. And then flexing your feet, let your legs drop wide into a straddle, keeping your lower rib cage anchored to the floor, legs wide. Good. So still lifted, legs still lifted, just open wide in a straddle. Good. So all the way up, you guys, so that, yep, facing the ceiling, and then wide. There you go. So feet are still in line with your hips. Yep, a little higher up, Darwin. There you go. Exactly. And then squeeze your feet towards each other, bringing the legs all the way back up to face the ceiling. Good. And then take the legs wide again. Nice. Let them go as wide as they'd like to go, but you're feeling like there's a consistent hug of your inner thighs. And then squeeze the legs all the way back up together, keeping that low belly engaged, low rib cage engaged. One more time, take the legs out and wide. Good. And then squeeze the legs all the way back together. Nice job. Legs stay lifted. Press the heels together, please. And then it's like you are drawing little spirals with your legs. So start to spiral your legs, little tiny circles, little tiny spirals. So you're keeping your upper body as still as you can. You want to almost feel like that drawing of the circles is happening from the lowest part of your belly. So you don't have to move fast. Good. You can move fast if you want. Good. Knees can be slightly bent if necessary, but you're working from that low place of your belly. Good. Upper body stays still. Move yourself the other direction. So spiral the other way. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. And then come back to stillness, please. Hugging the knees in towards your chest, squeeze. Yeah. And then bring your knees wide, bottoms of the feet together, heels in towards your groin. So don't drop the feet to the floor, but let your knees go wide. Draw your heels towards your groin. Keep your knees angled up towards your armpit. So it's Baddha Konasana, but you're not dropping the feet to the floor. Good. Instead, you're drawing those heels in towards the groin, and you're giving just a little bit of a squeeze of your knees towards your outer ribs. So again, you're expanding through your lower back. Good. Without hyper focusing on getting the knees wider, just getting the knees up and in so the lower back can extend, broaden. Really good. Nice, Anastasia. Nice, Susan. Good, Tracy. Good. And then hug the knees back towards each other, please. Good. Take the right thigh over top of your left, wrapping the thighs and the shins. So like you're in eagle pose. So the right leg wraps on top of the left. Good. Shins parallel the floor. Take your left arm over top of your right in front of your chest, wrapping the arms. It's like you're doing eagle pose on your back. Good. Don't let those hands fall onto your face so you have that lift of your forearms. Good. Find your whole lower back. Good. Breathe wide. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your elbows and knees towards each other, curl. So bring the shoulders up, squeeze the elbows towards the knees. And then inhale, find the length of your spine, breathe. And then exhale, squeeze all the way in. Good. And then inhale, extend, find your spine. Exhale, squeeze in. Good. Try not to arch your back when you inhale, coming back to a long spine. And then exhale, curl in again. So you're keeping the navel engaged the whole time. Inhale, extend. This is your last one on this side. Exhale, curl in. Good. And then release, unwinding everything, please. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Good. And then let's switch to the other side before you lose momentum. Left thigh over top of right before you lose motivation. Good. Wrapping the legs. Take the right arm over top of the left in front of your chest. Good. Making sure that you're not dropping the forearms onto your face. You have that lift, and then you have that drawing of the arm bones into the shoulders. That's what we're doing here, is integrating. Find your full spine. Inhale. And then exhale, bring the elbows and knees together, rounding into your belly. Good. Inhale, come back to your full spine. Deep breath. Exhale, curl in. Elbows and knees move towards each other. Good. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, squeeze in. Good. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, squeeze in. Good. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, squeeze in. Good. And then release and unwind, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Beautiful. Good. And then place the feet back down to the floor, please. Arms back into robot arms or straight, whatever your choice is for bridge pose. Robot arms might be helpful here because we're doing a little bridge pose variation. So pressing down into the upper arms, press into your feet, lift your hips up, come back to bridge. Good. And then you're taking your right leg straight up towards the sky. And if reaching the leg straight up is not working for you, you can take the ankle over the left thigh, but it's almost easier to keep the leg straight so that you can really pull up through that heel. So pull up, pull up, pull up, and really root down and wide through your upper back. Nice. Keep your left heel engaged so all of your weight is not on your shoulders. Yeah, release that right foot down to the floor. Really good. Left leg up. I know you're hoping for a break, but left leg up. Press up through that heel. So again, you get a lift through your hips because you're rising through that heel. You're not just adding weight. Good. Drag back on the right heel. Awesome. Release that left foot down to the floor. Slowly lower the hips down to the floor. Really good. Good. Find the whole length of the spine. Take your arms overhead. Hold opposite elbows or wrists. Nice. Feet can stay flat. And even here, softening the front rib cage down to the floor. what it feels like to be in the space between doing too much and too little. And I think it becomes as a shock to us that we need far less of what we think we need to feel good or to feel well, to feel balanced. So it's a shock because we can't believe that it could be as easy as it is. And I'm not saying that it is always easy. Finding what works and coming out of those imbalances can be absolutely challenging. But when we find that equanimity, it might seem like it's shocking how simple. You give yourself the opportunity to simplify the way that you practice. You're not trying to change yourself, but you're just trying to find where's the inroad, where's the entrance, where is that radiance the most visible. And you keep following it. That's what we say. You follow the inner light, the inner sun. Take one more full breath. And then draw the knees in towards your chest, please. Hug. Let your knees go wide. Reach for your ankles or your edges of your feet, insteps or outer edges for happy baby. Good. And the elbows can rest inside the knees here. And if they are resting inside the knees, you can give a little squeeze of your knees towards your forearms. Good. Have a little scoop of the low part of your belly. So you're trying to bring as much of your sacrum down to the floor as you can. So instead of focusing on the knees getting down to the floor, try and find your lower back down to the floor. Good. Nice, you guys. And then release, hugging the right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg down towards the floor. Good. Reach with your left hand for the outer edge of your right foot. So you're turning your shin like you're doing pigeon pose on your back. So you're just reaching for the baby toe edge of your foot and you're turning the shin. So you're letting your right knee go a little wider. You're drawing that heel towards the opposite hip point and then lifting that leg just slightly higher towards your chest. So again, you're playing with that pigeon pose position, but you're on your back. So you can let your right thigh go as wide as you'd like. You can let your knee go as wide as you'd like. Good. You might even feel that you want to circle that hip or you want to move it around. Good. You might feel like trying to press your foot into your left hand gives a little bit of a sense of resistance. You might find that it's nice to start to lift that shin up towards your chest, then maybe curl your shoulders up like you're going to bring your forehead or your chest to your shin. Again, those might be a lot of words I'm using that don't mean anything to you. Nice. Nice, Susan. Good, you guys, whatever variation you're doing. Excellent. And then slowly release, please, hugging that right knee in. Good. Bend your left knee, please, planting that foot. Take your right ankle over your left thigh. I know we're not done on that first side. So right ankle over left thigh, left knee is bent. And then you're dropping your hips over to your left. So your right foot is going to come flat to the floor. Yep. Yep. And start to angle that right knee up towards the ceiling just a little bit. So as that knee starts to lift up, you're drawing that right low belly and sacrum back and down towards the floor. So it's a hip stretch. So Darwin, take your feet the other way. Sorry, take your feet the other way. Yep. Yeah, so it's not quite the twist. It's like a backwards twist. Good. And then your foot is planted. Excellent. Move that knee, Darwin, up towards the ceiling. That's it. And then you're trying to bring that left side of your low back down towards the floor. Good. Yep. Nice, you guys. Your practice is to take you out of excess. If you are trying to do other things, it's not a problem, but realize that if it is counter to bringing you into balance, if it's part of your process of doing too much or too little, you're making more work for yourself. One more deep breath on this side, angling that thigh up, bringing that right side sacrum towards the floor. And then come all the way back up to center, please. Yep, all the way back. Hug that right knee in. Good. Now you can send the right leg down to the floor. Hug your left knee in. And then come into that pigeon variation on your back. So the right hand reaches for the baby toe edge of your left foot. Turn the shin. Good. And you're turning the shin again to whatever angle feels like it works best for you. So you want to try to find where that left knee is angled slightly up towards your armpit, because if you let it come too far down, is you're changing the rotation of your thigh and your hip socket, and you're going to have less mobility. You're going to have less ability to move that shin. So you want the knee angled slightly up, sit bone going nice and wide. And then you can play with how wide the knee can go or how wide the thigh can go. And of course, circling the knee is a great idea, circling the hip, keeping your foot flexed no matter what you're doing. And then maybe lifting that shin towards your chest feels good. Maybe lifting the shoulders, bringing your chest towards that shin feels good. And even if none of this feels particularly good, doesn't fit into that category, you can still find where there's an opening, where there's space. Good. Really nice, everybody. And then slowly release, coming back down. Nice. Hug that left knee back in towards your chest. And then bend your right knee, plant that foot to the floor, take your left ankle over your right thigh, and then you're dropping your legs over to your right. So it's not the normal twist, but it's over to the right. And then that left foot is going to come flat to the floor. Ankle is still up against the right thigh. And then you're starting to lift that knee up towards the ceiling just a little bit and dropping that left side sacrum back down towards the floor. So make that the priority. If your sacrum is having a lot of trouble twisting back down towards the floor, let the knee fall towards your belly again and work the low back a little bit wider towards the floor. And then once you've found that position, then you can start to lift that left knee again. Again, you're fooling around with the mechanics of your hip here. So if your thigh bone is not well integrated into the hip socket, then nothing can go anywhere. So you're letting that knee fall in so that you can let the back settle back, find that openness, then you can start to rotate that leg up again. And this is the whole story of your practice, is you're just fooling around with the mechanics of this body and this mind to figure out how does it work in an easeful way. That's my equanimity. How does it fit into this big picture of creation? That's my equanimity. And once I know what it is, I can come from there consistently, and I'm no longer just ping-ponging the world back at itself. That's why they say that when we come into that state is we stop being defensive. And don't worry if you're like, I'm not defensive. Of course you are. I am too. We are defensive. That's okay. It said that we relax that when we come into that real state of equanimity, that being able to be undisturbed. So that what comes through us, what comes out of us is always coming from a place of deep fundamental truth, truthfulness. No ping-ponging. Good. Take your last breath here, again, softening the left side sacrum towards the floor, left side rib cage towards the floor. And then come back up towards center, please. Hug that left knee in towards your chest. Good. Extend the right leg back down towards the floor. And then come into spinal twist, please. Bringing that left knee all the way across the body over to the right. Left arm extends wide or comes up alongside your ear. Good. Option is to straighten the left leg so you get a little bit of an extra stretch in the IT band and the outer hip. Good. Normally we would joke if you're next to someone as you stretch that leg straight and just rest it on top of them. You know, you all miss doing that. So if you have someone next to you, take the opportunity. Nothing like putting your feet on someone. Good. And then slowly bring yourself back to center, please, hugging that left knee in towards the chest. And then send the left leg down towards the floor, bring the right knee in. Good, come into spinal twist, over the body, like right knee over to the left. Right arm extends wide or up alongside your ear. And then again, there's the option of straightening the the right leg. Finding that extra stretch, pressing out through the heel. You can always hold behind the thigh so that you can keep that angle of the thigh in line with your hip. Good. Then bring that right knee back in towards your chest, coming back to center. Squeeze it in. Good. And then stretch both legs out in front of you. Arms alongside you. Taking the legs together, pointing the toes. Good. Last abdominal stretch, because the request was for core. So you can blame Linda for this. Point your toes. Scoop into the lowest part of your belly. Lift your feet up just a couple of inches off the floor, or as high as you need to go that is sustainable. And then lift your head, neck, and chest. Look at your belly button and stretch your hands towards your feet. So a full boat pose where you're hollowing the front of your body towards the floor. Good. So stay a little lower. Sorry. Because, yep, exactly. Relax your shoulders. Keep breathing. Long throat. Good. I'm not even going to suggest breath of fire, but just hang for one more breath. And then slowly release. Nice job. Stretch your arms up overhead. Good. Reaching whole body, drawing the low rib cage down and in, reaching through your fingertips, reaching out through your toes, either pointing or flexing, maybe doing both. Nice. And then slowly release, letting the feet drop open, arms come alongside you, palms facing up. Settling yourself for Shavasana. A pose that is, the direction is to do nothing. No thinking, no wondering, no analyzing, no judging. Just maybe to experience your own energy as radiance. Gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Letting the body begin to stretch, move in whatever ways serve it well. As you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. Taking a moment before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together at the heart center, palm to palm. And feeling yourself breathe into the front of the body, the back of the body. Feeling the spine lifting on that thread through the crown of the head to the tail. The inner light, the inner radiance is always shining. It's always the solstice inside. The sun is always shining. And all we're doing as we practice is we're moving ourselves away from where we have habitually started to do too much or we always do too little. And as that starts to shift and fluctuate and change and move, then what reveals itself is that radiance that's always been there. And then we're shocked at how simple it is. We're shocked at how easy it is because it's what you are. This is the fundamental teaching of yoga, that this is what you are. So all you're doing with your practice is moving through those patterns until you find, here is my range of doing too much, too little, what's in between, my equanimity. Don't make more work for yourself. It's easy as breathing in and breathing out. And as difficult as it is to only be breathing in and breathing out without all of the other mental gymnastics. You keep your eyes on that inner sun. Deep breath in for Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week until I see you again. Sheryl should be back next week. So just your